Chris Hensley is a registered representative of Cambridge Investment Research, Inc., a broker-dealer member of FINRA SIPC, investment advisor representative of Cambridge Investment Research Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor. Cambridge and Houston First Financial Group are not affiliated.
The Houston Midtown chapter of the Society for Financial Awareness presents Money Matters with your host, Christopher Hensley.
Good morning, everybody. You're listening to Money Matters on KPFT Houston. It's 10 a.m., and we have a great show lined up for you today. Our guest today is Rudy Cavazos Jr. We don't often have guests returning on the show. I've kind of prided myself on having, rarely will I have returning guests, but Rudy's actually been on the show multiple times, and we'll tell you why. We're going to talk a little bit about Houston Money Week, and but he has got something he's working on called the Bridgepath that we are going to discuss as well. Our main topic for today is going to be Ready, Set, Spend. The holidays are just around the corner, so we're going to talk about some of the holiday spending. We've got Thanksgiving, we've got Christmas, not that far away, so please keep listening, stay tuned. But if you're a longtime listener, you know we always reserve the first few minutes to tell you a little bit about what's going on in the local Houston area. I wanted to spend some time talking about Houston Money Week, even though Houston Money Week is not officially going down until April of 2017. We have already started getting ready, getting our partner organizations to meet and getting ideas about what that's going to look like. These, again, Houston Money Week, if you listened to the show last year, you know we it's kind of like a wedding where you plan in months and it builds and it builds. We're at that stage where we're getting started. Eventually, when we get to April, the wedding looks like multiple financial education events across the city of Houston, Galveston, Leak City. I mean, this thing has just grown in the past years that we've been working on it, and so we're getting ready. We're getting started. All of these presentations are going to be free, so there is no charge. To find out more about Houston Money Week, you can visit the website www.houstonmoneyweek.org, and I'm sure when we talk to Rudy here in a moment, we'll talk about a little bit more here. So, in fact, he's looking at me right now. I'm going to turn his mic on. And Rudy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chris. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So before we get into our topic, we're going to be talking about is holiday spending and getting ready, getting ramped up for the holidays. But before we dive into that, I wanted to share with the listeners a little bit about you. And I know you from a while back through Money Management International.
Right.
We worked together at that nonprofit, and then after that, you played a crucial role. You've played a crucial role in Houston Money Week, and you've even got something that you're starting now. Can you tell us a little bit about all of that?
Oh, absolutely, and thank you for the opportunity, Chris. As you mentioned, my role within Houston Money Week is that I'm one of the few founders, if you will, from when we started improvising and designing this initiative, this citywide initiative that empowers families and individuals on financial education. I feel very proud to be of this part of this initiative, and how we provide free education citywide and covering everything from the basics of budgeting all the way through creating wealth and how to protect your wealth and assets and so forth. So it's been a really neat part of my career. Now, as you mentioned, I'm at a point where I'm taking on a different path, and what I've done is I've created my own nonprofit 501c3 organization. The name of it is called the Bridgepath. Basically, the reason I named it the Bridgepath is because I want to connect resources to help the community and hopefully impact them in a way where it's going to change their lives. So bridging resources on one side with another is kind of the essence and the idea that came up, how I came about with that name. Now, of course, everyone says when you're a startup, you got to have that elevator speech, and I'm still trying to memorize my own mission statement, but I appreciate that I have the opportunity to read it right off the paperwork here. So let me just tell you a little bit about what our mission is. Our mission is to provide expert, comprehensive, and fundamental personal financial education to families and individuals by creating a collaborative environment within the goal of empowering communities. Okay. Our vision is for the Bridgepath to become a leader in disseminating personal financial education by bridging resources to general and low to moderate income communities that lack access to life-changing information and curricula. So basically, again, what we're doing here at this organization is providing free personal financial education to everyone in the community.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's right in line with the Houston Money Week stuff. That's right in line with SOFA, the stuff we've been doing as well. Talk to us about how that translates into some of the services and the different programs that are provided.
Well, again, the services and the programs, we can kind of sort of itemize what they are, and you and I know that in this community, there's still, even though we have a lot of organizations out there, whether they're for-profit or non-profit, trying to disseminate this financial education, there's still a lot of people that are not receiving this information.
Absolutely.
There's still a lot of people that are falling victims to identity theft and other sorts of telephone scams. And as you're probably aware, the recent scams are dealing with the IRS and people calling people that they owe a certain amount of money and so forth, or receiving a letter that looks like it came from the IRS. So the topics, the servicing, the programs, they're all related to budgeting, to credit, to banking, understanding the banking process, because today, whether you know it or not, or if you've noticed or not, a lot of our banking partners and our banks in our communities are really pushing the consumer to do everything online.
Right.
And for some of us, that is convenient, but then there's a larger part of society in our community that is still not very comfortable with doing things by computer, by tablet, laptop, or basically online. They don't trust it. They're afraid. So they're kind of falling behind, and there are classes to teach them the safeguards about having a relationship online with your bank, and so we have those type of classes that we offer. Of course, the others fall in line with housing, payday lending, which is a very serious situation here in our state of Texas, goal setting, small business workshops for those individuals and entrepreneurs that are thinking about starting their own organizations. We have classes to teach them how exactly to do that startup, how to create that startup, because if you think about it, the number one thing that all startups have to deal with is, where do I get the money to start up? And usually it's from your own account or your friends and family that help you start up your own business. But you have to understand that that is quickly going to run out, and you need to have a good credit score, credit history, in order to obtain some sort of capital to keep your company going. And lastly, we have wealth creation, talking about what some of the tips of what you need to do in order to start creating wealth. It's not, it's not very productive to say, well, I have a savings account, or I have a certificate of deposit that I'm using as my wealth creation vehicle. No, there's more technical and sophisticated methods that you can use in order to start increasing wealth as of now. And the earlier you start planning for that, the whole lot better it is for you as a consumer.
Well, that's right across the board, because you take them from the credit cards, which when they're in high school and then college, that's one of the first things that they get. They fall in that trap. And then the payday lending, that's huge. Banking, I know you mentioned that it's automized banking. I know, I'm not to mention names, but there was a bank last year that basically laid off almost half their tellers, and they've now in the lobby they've put ATMs with cameras and almost like Skyping the teller there, and it's going to take a long time for people to get used to that. And then ultimately at the end, the wealth development. I mean, we have a retirement crisis here in the U.S. People will get to the end of the line and not be prepared for retirement. So all of this is huge. Well, okay, so we've talked a little bit about that. This sounds really, really great, but let's get into our topic. We were talking about holiday spending, and I know we're here October, November, December. We're kind of getting enough time to get in front of it. How do consumers prepare for the upcoming holiday season?
Well, you say that, we've got 3 months prior to these holidays and festivities and parties, but I'll tell you what, the real sound advice here is always been start early, stock up, and be flexible. And what I mean by starting early is that I know that you and I in previous shows and even presentations around this community, we've talked about how important it is to start saving for your holiday spending early during the year, whether it's January, February, but putting something aside, researching exactly what you spent the prior year and kind of making a plan that, okay, that's the amount that I'm going to need to have by, say, 10 months from January. And you start setting that aside in some sort of savings account. Ideally, that's the best way to do it. Truthfully, how many people do it? Not many.
Right,
we know that.
True.
Yeah, we know that because we talk to a lot of people in different presentations and workshops, and that's what they tell us. Yes, we understand that, but I haven't done it. Now what do? I'm 3 months away. Well, again, it's time to set out a plan. Look and see what you spent last year. See if there's any way that you can come up with that money in 2 months, setting it aside, sacrificing, meaning doing without in certain areas. If you're used to dining out every weekend as a family, perhaps just stop doing that for the next 2 months. It's a sacrifice, but the important thing here is try to stay away from the credit card. Using that credit card, those interest rates. A lot of times when you start using those credit cards during these holiday expenditures, these expenses roll over into the following year. And then they just keep rolling because we don't pay them off in their entirety, and you end up with that debt in August, and then on top of that, you add a little vacation debt on top of that, and by the time you know it, that holiday debt of $1,500, as an example, has now turned out to be $4,500 by the end of September of the following year. So what we're saying here today is devise a plan to use money first. Try to not use credit cards because of the compounding interest. But if you do have to use credit cards, then really make a strong plan to pay that out by the end of January or by the end of February.
So that you actually said a lot there. I'm going to kind of try to unwind some of it because there was a lot of stuff that was really powerful there. The idea that, best practices, we should be looking at this year round and trying to get things on sale in January and February, but most people aren't doing that. And then, but even just having the 3 months starting now to put a plan together, to maybe sacrifice, to put some of that money aside, but not waiting until December where you wake up in January and have this hangover of credit card debt, trying to not use the credit card there. That's huge. Now, let's talk, since Halloween is the first holiday, so that's right around the corner. How can we save hard-earned money when it comes to these holidays?
As you said, this is one of our the first festive holiday, if you will, the holiday weekend, and you see it in your neighborhoods. Kids running around with their costumes, and the parents going out and buying all sorts of candies and so forth. So this is a real tough one, especially when you have children involved. They want to have the latest and the coolest, and it's tough to tell them no. I can understand that, but if you're able to sit down and really clearly explain to the children that you're trying to save money because you want to have you want to have money for a better Christmas holiday, if you will, or if they're looking at a slightly more expensive gift during that period of time, you're telling them, I need to save money now. So in essence, we're saying first communicate with your children and engage them into your plan that you're going to save money by not going out and buying the latest and greatest costume for Halloween. What we're going to do today is we're going to get creative and have them help you create their new ghost or ghoul or whatever character that they want to create, but using what you have at home, using your resources. That right there is easily $50 that you're saving on one child by creating and helping them create their own Halloween costume. It's a fun opportunity to create a task between family and their children. That's one way of saving money on this. Of course, another great thing is that if you're living in within your neighborhood, you've got your neighbors. Why not team up with your neighbors and say, instead of having two individual homes, let's sit outside in the driveway as two families and give out candies and share the expense. Another opportunity is that again, you have family and friends. Why not talk to your families and friends and say, hey, you're probably not going to use last year's Halloween costume. Can we trade, swap? These are, ideas, little ideas, but they can save you a lot of money at the end of the month saying, wow, we were able to save $150 now that we don't have to spend that money because we have it saved, and we can go ahead and eliminate a couple of gifts off our list during December.
I like that. I like all three of those ideas there. The sitting down and having that can be difficult conversation with your child, saying no, but also engaging them and bringing them in. I think if you frame it in such a way that, hey, we can have a better Christmas if we do this, that they're going to be on board more. And I love the idea of the kind of do-it-yourself DIY ethic of creating your own costume.
Yes, it's fun
because just even on the way into the station today. You think about it, driving down 59 or really any part of Houston, you'll see these seasonal franchises that'll pop up. They're only there for October. You walk in there and it's a bunch of stuff that is not as expensive as the price tag on there, but that's what they're charging. And then immediately after Halloween's over, you can see these costumes turn up in thrift stores or something like that. And like you said, the biggest thing that year is, next year it's something different.
Sure.
So the idea of creating your own costume, that gives the kid that they can be creative. We can come up with stuff on their own. And then also the collaborative efforts between the families sitting out on your driveway and sharing in this experience is building community. It's really a great thing. And then trading or swapping costumes, that's also very good because, if you have kids in the same age range, you won't necessarily, as fast as they grow, you may not use it again next year.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Well, let's switch from kids to adults. Adults are increasingly celebrating Halloween more often. Any tips on cost saving for adult Halloween parties?
Yeah, I over the years I've noticed that Halloween has become just as an important holiday festivity for kids as it is for adults. And a lot of the adults they're gathering together in someone's home, and it's a light dinner, but with that there's probably a little bit of alcohol and so forth. So, you've heard it before that, are the Costco's, are the Sam's the places to go? Well, I think maybe at a party that you're having 10 or 15 couples participate in or friends, that would probably be a good recommendation to head on over to Costco. You'll save yourself some money there. And as far as the beverages, if you're talking about alcoholic beverages, now's a perfect time. There's beverages that are on sale that might not be the ones that are your favorite, but there's nothing wrong with experimenting, trying something new because it's on sale. Let your guests know that, hey, this is an experiment. This is something that I bought that was on sale. Let's see if we're going to like it. So there's these kinds of parties are always in line with how you save money when you go grocery shopping. So obviously when you're going to go shopping for these items, you're not going to go in there hungry. Rule number one, don't go shopping for food when you're hungry. And so basically you want to go ahead and write out your list of what you want to do, serve, and then check around, especially now that you can do it online. You can get all these coupons. All these grocery stores are engaged in that and are very willing to send you these coupons via email. And like I said, the larger Sam's or Costco is a great opportunity to save some money when you're dealing with these adult Halloween parties.
So these are good ideas when you're talking about, you think about buying in bulk, the club memberships, the discount
Correct.
clubs. You know, sometimes that's good when you're shopping weekly, but if you're not feeding 15 or 20 people, this is a situation where you actually are for a party. So,
yes.
So that's when some of those bulk buying comes in, and looking for things that are on sale, being experimental, trying things that you haven't tried to see if it may. You never know, you might find something new there. And don't go in hungry. And then you talked about things that are just like when you're grocery shopping. Don't go in hungry. Stick to your list. Make a list, and then even coupons. Coupons are things that we talked about before on this show. Let's switch holidays here, because shortly, not that far down the road, after Halloween, we have Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving, you've got travel, you've got parties, household expenses from arriving guests. Where can we save money?
Well, Chris, as we mentioned, now is the time to start planning for all of these holidays that are right around the corner. You've got your Halloween, like you said, your Thanksgiving, then you've got your Christmas holiday in December. And if you're traveling for Thanksgiving or for Christmas, this is the ideal time to start visiting your favorite travel websites to find out about the prices of airfare. I think this is known by pretty much everyone that the sooner you can book, probably the better price that you're going to get. One little tip that I've always I've used is that flying into the most popular airport is not always the less expensive. A lot of these travel sites will offer you the opportunity to check surrounding airports, and sometimes you'll find a great deal by flying into a smaller airport than your larger airport. So the advice now is to start early with travel planning. Same thing with if you're holding parties for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. It's all about the preparation, the early preparation, and if this is a sort of family party, then don't be shy. Ask them, your family, friends and family, if they can contribute with some sort of dish. If you know that, I have a younger sister that she makes a terrific triple chocolate cake that I always ask her to bring to every party that I host at my house. It's an amazing cake. It's making my mouth water already. But, that's her contribution. I think that's just something that a lot of us fail to do, is ask our family and friends, and, can you bring something? Especially if you know that they're really good at making something.
So those are all good tips. I know that Thanksgiving is, especially when you talk about food, that's a huge food holiday, and bringing people, other family members on board, asking for the help if you're the one hosting, or everybody kind of chipping in and pulling their part, but preparing early. That's kind of been a theme on all of these, is getting out there early. You talked about the travel plan with the website. I know we have listeners outside of the Houston area, but here in Houston we've got Hobby, we've got George Bush Intercontinental, we've even got the small airport out in Sugar Land. A lot of times people won't look at Hobby, but the rates can be cheaper significantly.
Sure.
And so for other cities, I'm sure that there are other choices there as well. For many families, I'm going to switch here to Christmas now.
Sure. For
many families, the biggest holiday expense is Christmas. Again, parties, travel, gifts, so many other unforeseen expenses. What are your tips for not overspending?
Well, if you've been listening to the show in its entirety, you see that planning is just a foundation, and the sooner we plan, the better you plan, the easier it's going to be on your wallet, and that goes for the Christmas holiday when it comes to travel, to gifts, to the parties. I tell you, what I've seen a lot of is that during the holidays, it's about, when you talk about kids, it's about them wanting the best and the greatest and the newest types of gifts. And that's all good. But sometimes, we talk to a lot of families that just can't be done. One tip that I've always told a lot of these families is, and I personally use this one too, is that, for December 25th, I choose to give a lesser expensive gift, and then I wait till after the Christmas holidays, and sometimes even after New Year's, to actually go out and shop for that more expensive gift. Because I know that I should have brought that survey, but the survey shows that a lot of these items they're discounted up to 50% off after the holidays. So it makes it a great opportunity if you can be a little patient. Again, if you can sit down with your children and saying, hey, I am talking to them and seeing if they can wait a little longer, and after the Christmas holidays, that gift that they want is probably going to be at a discounted rate, and you're going to save some money.
That's huge. You're exactly right. As soon as January hits, a lot of these retailers, they've overstocked. They've made a year-end push to look good for the stockholders to make all of these sales. Year kicks over. Everybody operates on that 12-month quarter.
Sure.
And so, things will go on sale. You could even give them a picture or printout of what it is and say, this is what you're getting, but it's not until the second week of January.
As a local Houstonian usually says in his commercial, it's on a back order slip, isn't it?
There you go. Put them a picture so they can see it. Well, we're actually this has gone by super quick. We're bumping towards the end of the show here. What have I forgot to ask you that you'd like to tell us about that?
Well, again, during the Christmas holidays, there's a lot of expenses that we overlook, and one of those is shipping cost. We have a lot of families that are not living together, that are on the West Coast, East Coast, or wherever, or maybe outside another country. So you need a plan for those expenses. I know everyone has a lot of different choices today, but make sure that is budgeted into your planning for those expenses that you're going to incur during December, because they can add up. Also, this is an opportunity during December that if you're shopping as late as December for Christmas holidays, then again, have your emotions in check. What I'm saying is that, sometimes this is a very difficult time for a lot of people, and some people have the tendency that they might want to go out shopping to kind of overcome the depression. Or even if you're not suffering through that and you just want to get into the Christmas spirit, well, be careful for that, because the emotions rise and you could overspend. And so be careful when you're out in the mall, because it's so nice to hear the Christmas songs and the smells that you have in these different stores to get you to purchase things. So if you don't have to show up at the mall, you've done your shopping early, then stay away and save a little money. Save it.
Absolutely. Rudy, thank you so much. Great information.
Welcome.
Once again, you're on the show. We've had great information. This is fantastic.
Thank you.
For listeners who'd like to find out more about Rudy, his website for can you give us the website for Bridgepath?
Well, actually, it's under construction, but we should have that within a week, and the address will be thebridgepath.org.
Perfect.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of Money Matters Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, visit us on the web at www.moneymatterspodcast.com. Drop us a line on SpeakPipe on the right-hand corner. It will receive any voicemails, questions, thoughts, concerns that you have about the show. In addition to this, we recently launched a Patreon campaign. Click on the Donate Now tab to hit the tip jar and find out what Patreon's campaign is all about.